slightly, but we can, I believe, safely, very safely, increase that taxable value figure that our property tax revenue in those three things, funds is based upon, based on this document. The 195 million is too low, is what I'm saying. We're gonna get more than that. We're gonna get more. So for instance, if you go to the general fund, okay, and then this other document I gave you, this is the L4029, they call it, and it's our tax rate request. Every year by September 30th, we have to turn this in, and it states what taxes, millages, assessments are gonna be levied come the next, well, come December, see, because the township levies its taxes in December 1st, with the December 1st tax bill. So if you look on this, and you look over in column 11, okay, you're gonna see that that operating line item, we're gonna be levying 0.5985 on the taxable value number, okay? And then the next line down, fire, we're gonna be levying 1 mil in the fire fund on whatever we agree is the taxable value number. We can pick that number, is what I'm saying. Then in ambulance, we're gonna be levying, I'm sorry. Okay, let me back up just a little bit. This is what was levied December 1st of 2018. Okay, so this is going down, the operating and the ambulance will go down probably a little bit because our taxable values are going
At
up.
that time, it was 202, correct?
Right, and see, and that was 202 in 2018, but we used a much lower number than that for the budget. I think we
Right.
might have used 190.
Okay.
But so anyways, what I'm saying is, I think that we should take, if everybody agrees, I'm just one vote on this board, I think that we should go to the general fund, budget, okay? And the document I provided for tonight, and under the first line item, 402 property taxes, see that 116,707 figure is based on 195 million. Here it's saying you got 212. I mean, do you think we can safely go to 205, 200, 203? I mean, I'm just saying, I think we should show something more.
Well, the
Realistic.
total real property, the 204, 225, that's all collected.
That's all
Whether
collected.
we collect it from the taxpayer or we collect it from the county, that's assured.
It's assured because whoever doesn't pay the township, their taxes get turned over to the county and the county makes us whole.
Okay, so the only difference that could possibly come from that would be adjustments from the Board of the Review or Michigan Tax Tribunal, or if somebody got denied their PRE, which case it would go up, not down. So, if you look at, and I don't have it here, but if you were to look at the settlement that we just got, or settlement papers that we just got, from the county, you would see that we had, I gave it to you, didn't I?
Oh, the settlement paper?
Yeah.
Oh,
We had like $137 that didn't get collected in personal property tax. So you see that 8,410,000. There's not very much that I don't collect in personal property tax. So looking at the 212, 635, I agree with Cheryl, we need to be conservative, but a large majority of this always gets collected. Because the real and personal property tax, unless that's adjusted down through Board of Review or Michigan Tax Tribunal, or if they do another round of PRE testing, it'll either, I've never seen it go down because of parity. I've seen it always go up. It's always the other way around, people are denied. It would go up, not down. So I think if Cheryl's saying we could go to 205, or even just do the 204 and calculate from there, I think that's conservative enough.
Right.
Could we go to 205 and be comfortable with it?
I think so.
I think so, from what they're saying, it sounds very rational what they're talking about.
I mean, if we collect a little bit less, this is all just a projection.
Projection, right?
You know, so if we collect a little bit less, what did I do with my red pen? Did I have my red pen? If we collect a little bit less, it's no big deal. We might collect a little bit more on
Sure,
something
Cheryl.
else. Oh, what did I do with it?
You just need to exercise.
Oh, right. Right.
I agree, these are all just
Right,
exercises that we go through to try to keep us.
Try to keep it as accurate as
Right.
possible. And I'm fine with bumping that up.
do you want it to be 205, or what?
It's at 116 right now, right?
No, no,
That's the wrong one.
the 195 million is what I believe Ron had in his,
In 18, it was at 202, Lloyd, if you look here on this other piece of paper.
but that's what it was on that piece of paper. Ron has used a much, so I see.
On the number we used, the year before.
Yeah, he's used 195 million according to the
I heard
budget
you say it, but I'm
document
not-
he gave us on February 2nd.
That's probably where I saw it.
The 195
Which he was
million,
just being conservative.
right.
Which is fine.
Okay,
fine.
so then what you do is you take that, so how would the number change? So you got 205, whoops, that's too much. 205, 205, 205 million divided by, right, Della, 1,000 equals 205,000, no, that's not right. No, we just take the times, now Ron took it times the 0.5985, but that is likely gonna go down a little bit.
It is.
Well, because when our taxable value goes up,
I see, yeah.
we can't collect any more money because of Headley, right, Della?
Yep.
We're not supposed to be collecting more
Okay.
money all the time. So the amount that we levy, or the percentage that we levy actually goes
Decreases.
down.
Yeah.
So,
Keep it balanced.
if you did it times the 0.5985, I'm not doing that right. Times. Yeah, okay, you do have to, divide it by 1,000. Divided by, then, times 0.595 equals, that's how Ron got to the 116,707, was he took the 195 million, divided it by 1,000, because it's $1 per thousand, millage is $1 per thousand, okay, times the 0.5985. So if I took the 205 million, divided that by 1,000, that would be 205,000 times, and we know it's gonna be a little less, so we could just say 0.5900, and we would get $120,950.
Property taxes.
So I'm saying we could safely make that number probably 121,000. I mean, what do you guys think, or did you wanna make it the 129,005, or 950, I'm sorry. It's up to you guys.
You got any thoughts?
Just trying to catch up here. I trust Cheryl.
I think,
Or we could make it 120,000.
well, that number you figured at the 205 puts you at 121, you said?
120,950.
Just do 121.
121?
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna change that to 121. Then also in the general fund, I provide a new number every year for the cell tower revenue. We get that check every month. And so sometime during the year, it goes up. And so right now, the cell tower, check every month is $3,421.80. And so times 12 months, that equals just over $41,000. So line number 670 under revenue, instead of going, be 39,800, should be 41,000. And actually, it'll be a little more than that.
Let's
But,
go with the 41.
Yeah, let's just go with the 41.
Yeah, that just irritates me every time they talk about cell
It does? Why?
Well, I'm getting a little off here, but way back when Derman and Turkelson sat on here as lawyers, there was one put up over on Yuba Road on some
Oh,
property.
yeah,
And then they came to us and wanted one.
yeah.
And we had a perfect location.
Oh, really?
And guess who pushed this board to zone it out?
I can only imagine, yeah.
That would've been a nice income.
Right.
It was a perfect spot for the Elk Lake corridor
Yeah.
No kidding.
where they wanted it. And it wouldn't have
Wow.
affected any of my orchards. But the other farmer got it, Matthew.
Oh,
Because
really?
that lawyer is the lawyer for that farmer.
Oh, jeez. Talk about self-dealing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, so then, we have to do the same thing in the fire fund to take that 205 million figure in the fire fund. So, and that, what that's gonna do is that's gonna be 205,000, because it's gonna be the 205 million divided by 1,000, which will get you 205,000 times 1 mil. So that's gonna take that to 205,000, correct, Ella? Because the fire fund is 1 mil. We aren't
I'm
changing
sorry,
that.
I was not paying attention, I was
Wow,
doing something else with the
you're
budget
getting as
thing.
bad as Lloyd here. Okay, so if you
I
take
gotta
the
quit
two,
reading and you gotta.
Well, I
quit
was
doing
putting
something.
bookmarks in to where all the spots were,
right, yeah.
so that I can easily jump back and forth to these places.
I don't blame you. So I was saying we jump to the fire fund, okay, because we need to apply that 205 million of taxable value to the 1 mil fire fund levy. So if you take that 205 million and you divide it by 1,000, because millage is $1 per thousand, you get $205,000, and then of course, if you times that by 1, you get 205,000. So I'm suggesting that instead of the 191,000, we can make that 205,000 under 402 property taxes
Okay.
and it should still
Yeah, so.
be somewhat conservative.
The only thing that changes is you're down at the bottom when you tally everything.
It's gonna
Right.
change, yeah, it's gonna lower that by, what is that, 14,000? No, it's gonna increase the revenues
Yeah,
in the fire fund by 14,000,
right.
okay?
So could you repeat that on 402 property taxes, please? Where are you?
402 property taxes in the fire fund, are you in the fire fund?
Yes.
Okay, the 191,000 recommended is going to 205,000.
Thank you.
So then, we need to skip to the ambulance fund to do the same thing there, because that's another levy that goes on the tax bill. Okay? So if you use 205 million for the taxable value, and here again, I'll actually be conservative on this. So what I did was, in the operating, in the general fund, instead of taking that 205,000 times the times the 0.5985, I times it by 0.5900, just to leave a little cushion there.
Mhm.
And then on the ambulance fund, and I'm trying to think, I thought we had a different document somewhere, but we wouldn't have figured that yet, what the taxable, what this form is gonna be, although.
Line
we
on
have-
402 on ambulance just has showing requested, it doesn't have a recommended in there, is yours, Lloyd?
Which one?
Under ambulance, 402 property,
Ambulance fund, property, I do not have recommended in there,
just requested,
just requested 298.42.
yeah, 298, 842, yeah.
Where are you looking at now?
Ambulance, ambulance fund,
Uh-huh.
402 property taxes, it just shows, it doesn't show any recommended yet, it just shows 290, 842.
Yeah, under recommended is all zeros. So we have requested, but not.
Oh, yeah, we've been through that.
Yeah,
How
that's what I
come
brought.
I don't have those figures in there?
I have requested amount is 290,842.
Okay, what day did we go through the ambulance fund? I believe that would have been on 3/13.
Yeah, last week, yeah.
Last week, yeah.
All right, so let me just see here.
Because we were talking about the, was it the Tavy or something?
The what?
The
Yeah,
Tavy that
what
was
did
gonna
I
be
do?
split
Miss
to it?
all the numbers for ambulance?
Yeah.
We did, we split
We
everything.
split,
down.
even though there.
There was one thing that was just a little different
Normally don't put anything in the budget because it's just all done through.
between fire and ambulance, yeah, we did, I remember, we spent quite a bit of time on that.
Yeah.
We decided to divide it up this year.
Let me get to my 313 document. Well, here's my 313 document. I think we did not change anything up top, right? We didn't change anything up top.
Okay.
Okay.
So the 298 for, everything in requested in revenues will be in recommended.
Okay.
So I missed putting that
Moving it
in.
over and recommended, okay.
Yeah, those are all, except we're gonna change the first one. And you know what? I didn't write them down. That's why I didn't get them in there.
But that
But
first
I-
one's gonna change now, right?
But see, I did get the yes, but see, I did get the expenditures in the recommended column, I just missed the revenue because we didn't change anything. But so, right, so back to the 205, million in the ambulance fund, so it's really 205,000, because you divide it by 1,000. So then, in December of 2018, we levied 1.4915. So, what I was looking for real quick here,
Isn't that what we just levy every year?
no,
No, it's
that
just
goes
about
down
every
too.
It goes down by the year?
That's
right,
a
right.
millage, and that goes down. Special assessments do not change.
Okay, I remember that.
Unless the board changes them, but millages are subject to Headley and they
Go down.
change, they go down when taxable value goes up.
Good.
Okay, so I just wanna see one thing here. In Pop's budget, I just wanna make sure what he had in there. Yeah, in fire fund, he had the 195 million. Yep, and then let me just jump down to ambulance here, just to make sure what he was using. Okay, and he had the 195 million times 1.4915, which is the number that's on here, but we know that's gonna go down a little bit. So I'm wondering if we just wanna make that by 1.4900. What do you think about that?
For the ambulance?
Yeah, I
That
mean,
would
it's-
don't you think that would cover us?
I think so. So if you take the 205 times 1.49, I get 305,450.
So it went up,
15,000.
yeah. Which is about close to what the other one's, 14.
305,450. So let me just do that little calculation again. Okay, so you got 205 million divided by 1,000, that's equals 205,000 times 1.4900 equals 305,450. So what'd you say that went up by 15,000?
Roughly, yeah, yeah.
Just under 15,000.
Yep.
So 290,842, it went up by 14,608. And I think it's just a little more realistic to use those numbers, if everybody agrees.
So what did that go up to again, please?
305,450.
And the recommended on 402.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep,
305,000,
450.
thank you.
Yep.
Cheryl, what was it on the fire fund again?
Fire fund, what it changed to?
Yes.
120, wasn't
205,000, because that's 1 mil, and that's
Alright,
205,000.
Yeah, that's what the other one did too.
thank you.
So I had that, and then, okay, I adjusted the cell tower revenue. The last thing that I have to make sure I adjust is, you all looked at my, change in the graded wage scale, which was the last page, I think, of your packet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so my deputy, with this new graded wage scale, this is her sixth, she's coming up on ending 6 years, so she's gonna be in the 6-year column. So she is going to go from 1390 to 1507. So when I took 1507 times 2 days a week, which is, when we have an election, she works 2 to 2.5, but like right now, she's only working a day and a half. So when I take 1507 times 16 hours a week, and then take that number times 50 weeks a year, because Teresa always goes on vacation,
Yeah.
50 weeks a year, I get 12, just over 12,000. So I'm going to need to adjust the clerk's wages, the deputy clerk's wage line item on,
From 9,000 to,
from 9,000 to 12,000.
And while you're right there, I see your note right below, it's the same thing for the deputy supervisor. Those numbers all apply, they just come down, correct?
Yeah, so Della, we need to because your deputy's at a higher wage than mine is.
if I read that right, is she at the 1696?
Right now, she's at 1565, which is the top of the, graded wage scale, but she's gonna go to 1696. These, starting at 13, these are 3% raises every year. So she's gonna go to 1696.
So if I kept the same number of hours, mine would go to 10,176. 10,176.
How many, what's the number of hours?
According to what I have here, 600.
A year?
Mhm. I'm looking at,
Didn't you say you were gonna go to 2 days a week or something?
well, I'm just going by the red stuff that's over here, 600 hours. What did I have before? I had, yeah, I did the math. Yeah. Let me go back to treasurer.
I go by 16, 2 days a week, 16 hours, times the wage, times 50 weeks. That's how I did it. I don't know how many hours. Well, what would that be a year? 16 hours times 50 weeks. See, Therese would be at 800 hours if she worked all of those hours. So
But you
we're,
can't
but
count
that's,
all those, right? All those weeks.
no, I did count them all.
No, you can't count them all, right? Because there's some vacation weeks in there.
And I already took those 2 out.
Oh, you did, okay.
50 weeks a year times 16.
Oh, I didn't hear you, I'm sorry.
Yeah, 16 hours a week times 50 weeks a year, that's 800 hours
Gotcha.
a year.
Yeah, see, at 600 hours, at 1565, it was the 9,390. I think that's what the original
You
budget.
must be doing 12 hours a week. A day and a half.
Yeah, that's what I said, a day and a half.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's 600 hours a year.
But did you say something that she was gonna put in, you were gonna have her do a few more hours or not, Della? I think that was the question,
And I
Cheryl.
see how you got the 10,176.
Or you're gonna stick to the day and a half?
Well, you know, I guess this is an appropriate place to talk about it. We're talking about digitizing all of our records back there, so we can get rid of all of those filing cabinets, and it actually secures your historical data, your data, because you save it in, you know, through a cloud
Virtual.
based, yes. So, and if your building burns down, your
Data's still
documents are
intact.
preserved, right.
Right.
It's off-site storage also.
Yes, yes. And I've talked to Lindsay about it, I've talked to Cheryl about it. We've talked about it at the board level a couple years in a row, and this year I'd really like to get on it. I've actually put Lois on, looking at the different companies and stuff that we could actually do this through. So she's getting a lot of emails and she's talking to a lot of people right now. I would like to be able to use her to do the scanning that needs to be done, because she's familiar with
All the files.
the files, what's in them and what we need to keep and what we don't need to keep and what's duplicates, and that saves a lot of
You
time.
bet. You bet.
So,
Now, would you need to get a specified type scanner or anything like that, or there be
you know, I think
special
what we
equipment?
do, I think we utilize that copier back
The
there.
Yeah, it's
copy
got a
will
good
do all the-
Yeah, it's got a really great scanner on it,
It does.
it's got a document feed,
Throw the feed in there, I mean, you don't have to do it page by page.
right, and she'll be scanning it directly into a parcel file, as far as I know, that would be by parcel number. You know, just like we have them filed back there now.
Right.
And she's on vacation right now, but when she gets back, she's gonna be getting back into that. We gotta find the right company, the right software.
How would you
And,
think
Something
of
like that,
adding a day to her schedule, or every week, or what do you
well,
foresee as far as?
but would you put that in the treasurer's budget, or would you really put something like that in, assessing, or zoning, or township board? Where would you actually put that,
That's a good question.
you know?
Well, so what, I mean, I don't know a lot about what's in all those file cabinets back there. The main group of them is parcel files, right?
Yes, that's the
And-
one we wanna start with.
Okay, so, and that is used by which department mainly?
Zoning administrator, and
Right,
assessor.
and
The only
assessor.
reason the treasurer ever uses it is when somebody walks into the township and asks questions, and I'm able to get into the files and produce what they need.
Right,
Otherwise, I don't use it.
And why don't we do our scanning by department then, and budget accordingly every year, like the property files first this year. Next year, do maybe your treasury records, and put it on treasury, and maybe another year do the clerk's office and put it on hers. And easy to keep track of, and then by then we know what we've got into the first one, to give us an idea of how to budget for the following years.
I mean, we do some digitizing now with the BSNA. The assessor will scan in warranty deeds, death certificates, those things, and attach them to a parcel file. But it's really not a very efficient way to do it, because the file gets so large that it's really not portable easily from one machine to another. For Dawn to give me her, attachment file is what it's called, for her to give me her attachment file, it takes a couple hours for it to download from her machine to my machine.
wow.
And every time it does it, it's bombed out like 3 or 4 times. We've had to have BSNA do it. So needless to say, when I look in assessing, or I look at the pictures that are attached, or the documents that are attached, I don't always have them. They're not always there because they didn't come over, or they're laying. So
Now, is there-
doing this, it would allow somebody, even somebody off-site, to be able to go into a parcel file and look at their stuff. This is all public records.
Yeah.
So, but if somebody wants to know, what do you have in the parcel file for my home, they'll be able to see all of it, print what they want at home, without having to come in here.
You just send them the file.
Right.
Now, does Dawn have any particular files that she likes better than others? Has she used any? Does she have any input in any of this?
Well, she uses the Acme Townships one, and theirs is old and outdated, but at the time they put it in, it was like you know, top of the line, but it is custom wrote,
Yeah,
which, you know,
yeah,
the programmer dies, you're
did.
screwed.
I guess I didn't know about, I mean, I think we could put this stuff online, can't we just PDF stuff? I mean.
Oh, yeah, it goes in as a PDF show.
Okay,
When you're scanning it in,
Oh,
it's created as a PDF.
okay,
The thing about what software you use is totally organizational.
yeah,
You can't just have a big file out there with a bunch of files on it. And you gotta have safeguards to it so people can't delete
Change
certain
everything.
things and change things.
right.
Yeah,
Gotta-
so there's specific software out there for digitizing township records, and that's what we're looking
On that
into.
note,
Okay,
you know, Riverside Title just started a new program that digitizes everything. They're
Yeah.
doing, and you might wanna
They're doing the
maybe
same
call
thing.
Brad or Aaron up there and ask what they're using, I can't remember the name.
Well,
but-
there's a couple townships in Grand Traverse County that has done it, and
Yeah.
I've seen them as references on some of these
Oh, okay.
software companies.
That's a good way to do it, good.
So, yeah, that's why I thought, give them a call, see how they like it, what was the
Well,
process
if you-
like.
If you were to start with that part of it, what, you think you need more hours to your,
That's why I'm asking the question, do you
Put
think
her
it
some
really
hours
is
for her in,
appropriate
yes,
to
that's
put it
right.
in treasurer hours, or put it in assessing, or in zoning?
what I think, my initial reaction is, it shouldn't be in your department.
Yeah.
We do have that wages line item in zoning, and I think what the way I see this going really is that I think Lindsay's gonna be really helpful with this. And I would like to see maybe what Lois does is assist Lindsay. And we could put some because Lindsay, I think, is gonna have kind of an idea of how it should all structurally be done. You know what I'm saying?
Well, then, maybe what we should do is put Lindsay and Lois together to find the software program that we need. 'cause-
That's what I'm thinking too, but I say what we could do with some wages for when Lois is working, you know, Lindsay will be paid out of her budget. And when Lois is doing it, I would say she would get paid out of that 703 wage line item in the zoning administrator budget, because she's kind of like an assistant to the zoning administrator.
At that point, yeah.
What do you think about that?
I don't have a problem with that.
well, it's certainly something that makes more sense.
I mean, and, you know, and I can tell you how this is gonna go. Lois isn't gonna have time to do this every week,
No,
cause she's got other things she does. There might be weeks go by that she doesn't work on it at all, that maybe Lindsay is working on it some, you know, but it's something we need to get going on this year.
Yeah, but to be quite honest with you, I already talked to Lois about this, that I would have to have dedicated days from her.
Oh.
I can't just, whenever you've got time, come on.
it'd make it
Oh,
easier
I
for
see.
this purpose, what we're trying to do here.
Right,
Yeah,
I
you got a
mean, and
plan.
she's already agreed to it. We
Okay,
just have to tell her what days we want her here, and
Yeah.
she'll move her other people around.
I see,
So
okay.
we could say one for going off what Cheryl just said, you want 1 day or 2 days? And then you guys can figure out what day she's coming in.
Yeah.
Don't you wanna kinda figure maybe a half a day or something, or do you want a whole day? Because she's gonna have to be careful that how many days a week do you need? One?
At least day and a half.
Day and a half. So are we gonna have her then here doing this an entire day?
It would be easier to actually do it an entire day,
Okay,
because that's what you're
You get the
focused
groove.
on, right?
Get the groove,
You just,
yeah.
you get a rhythm going and just.
Rather than I'm in here for a couple hours, I'm gonna pull all this stuff out, you know.
okay, so if Lois came in here for an 8-hour day, what's that new wage? What does that look like?
$16.96.
Okay, times 8 hours, okay, so that's 135.68 a day. Okay, so are we gonna say, how many weeks out of the year, is she gonna do that 50 weeks?
How long do you think this will, we don't have any idea, do
You
we?
wanna
Yeah.
put enough money in there for like 20 weeks? I mean, I don't know how long it's gonna take to do it, I don't have a clue, I really don't.
I put enough in there for,
6 months?
I was gonna say 6 to 8 months, yeah, try it, and then we can always,
Well, if you don't spend it, you don't spend it.
or if we need more, we can readjust it
Right,
then.
yeah.
I never use all my deputy wages, so.
Yeah, right. Well, Lois is just gonna have to keep track on, she's gonna maybe
She's
have to
gonna
do
have
a
to keep-
different timesheet for that.
But
Yeah.
for a trial error like this, maybe go 8 months.
So 8 months, 32 weeks?
Yeah,
Why don't we just say 30
30's
for
fine,
round numbers?
30's fine.
Okay, times 30 weeks. Times 30. Okay, so that comes out to $4,070. So do we wanna put $4,100 in the zoning administrator 703 wage line item, which currently has 0 in it because,
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
let's
wanna
put it
put
in there.
4,100 in there?
So we're going to zoning administrator?
Yeah.
Well,
Could you give
I'm
me
gonna
a
stay
point
on
of-
this wage thing.
Could you give me a point of reference on our packet right now? Are we on your printed out budget, or, I wasn't on Excel tonight, I was strictly going off your,
Yeah, I'm going off my document that came
Okay.
out with
Well, you can tell me
Thursday.
what page that's on.
okay,
Well, right now, I'm still on the graded wage scale.
Left
Were we done there
Yeah.
before we go back to the,
I'm gonna make a note here.
all that other, everything on graded wage scale, were you done with that, Cheryl?
Well, as far as it impacts the budget,
Yeah.
yeah, except I do have another thing that, we forgot to do.
we're putting 4,100 in 703?
703 under Department 405.
Okay.
More or less for wages, correct?
Wages for someone to assist with scanning of records.
Okay,
And where did I put that? Okay, so this is gonna be scanning documents. Okay. The one thing, I forgot to, before I got this budget together, I forgot to add that line item in supervisor department 171, 703, I forgot to add that in here. We've agreed to do it, but so since I forgot to add it, we don't have an amount in there. We talked about putting 3,000 in there for the current fiscal year, but we did not discuss what we're going to put in there for the next fiscal year. So I need some guidance on that. And of course, that will also go from the current starting 12 to 13 and out, because that will be on the new graded wage scale.
So we need to know what we wanna put in.
Yeah, I mean, what do you wanna throw in there? You wanna throw, I mean, I don't know how long this is gonna last. We've heard 30 days, we've heard 45 days.
Well, I don't think anybody really knows.
No, I don't, they don't, but I think we have to throw something in here so I can post to it.
I mean, for
could be
Ron-
permanently, who knows?
I was gonna say, for Ron's,
I don't think it'll be permanent, because if something happens to Ron, we'll be appointing a supervisor,
Right,
and then we won't have a deputy.
okay.
I
I don't know either, I mean,
The new supervisor would decide if they have a deputy or
for
not.
Ron's,
Right.
I hope it's not permanent, but
Right,
why don't we throw enough in there for 4 months, 5 months?
okay, so, I mean, like $4,000 or something, or?
I think that's comfortable, isn't it? That's just my opinion, you guys speak up, I'm just.
I think that's fine.
I mean, we can always adjust
You
it.
could throw 2,000 and it might not be enough, or you could throw 8,000, I don't know.
I already know I can't work for free, so
Right, so,
I would,
yeah, no, your time's worth something, so.
my civic duty.
What do you think on that, Dylan?
Yeah, I think we should.
Throw something in there?
Yep.
What about the 4,000 Paul recommended?
Yeah? I mean,
I mean-
what, are we figuring a number of hours like we do with the treasurer and the clerk's deputies?
Well, and here's
or-
the thing, I mean, okay, when Ron Pop comes back, is he going to keep his deputy?
He
I
may
mean-
for a while until he's back on his feet.
Yeah, he may,
I mean, we kinda gotta, since we don't know,
right.
we need to kinda plan on on maybe he's gonna use his deputy,
Right, yeah,
because he
yeah.
might not feel well
Right, yeah.
some weeks or something.
I'm just looking for a number. I don't care what it is.
I'd say 4,000 for right now, you can always,
I agree, we can always do a budget adjustment if we have to.
correct.
Right,
It's not gonna come anywhere near that.
okay, well, we're sticking it in there anyways.
Well, you saw how we did it with Cheryl and I's. We figured out how many days a week, times it by the per dollar hour, and that's how we came up with what we're budgeting. And here, we're just throwing 4,000 in?
Yeah.
Well, one nice
Is that
thing
all right?
about, one nice thing about this, if you think into the future, you guys, I thought about this quite a bit. We never had to, but I think now that we have it here, you know, for the
We
next.
just keep it there.
You keep it there for the next board
Right.
that's in place.
Yeah,
If they wanna have a deputy supervisor, they can have one.
It's already there.
It's there.
And how they're paid is
Yep.
already figured
It's
out.
already set up and,
Right, exactly.
cause we said when we got this board rolling, we had a lot of stuff we were gonna fix up in this town.
Right.
And I feel we've done a lot of that already.
I think we have.
So we're adding 4,000 more to the 7,000 wages that are already there?
No, there's
No,
no
that's
7,000.
elections.
Yeah, that's elections. It's a line item that's not on there, Dell. I forgot to
do it.
add it before I printed this document. But it will be on the document that goes out later this week for Tuesday.
Got it.
You got that, Ron?
Yeah, it'll be a 703 deal.
It'll be 101, 171, 703.
Yep.
General fund, supervisor department, 703 wages.
Got it.
Okay, so let me
Thank
just
you.
look through I changed my clerk, I just gotta make sure I don't have any more notes in here that I have to deal with. We added wages, for Lois for scanning in Department 405. Oh, you know what else that's gonna change? And, okay, I'll tell you what that's gonna change. So now, it's also gonna change the Social Security Medicare. So we might as well deal with that right now.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so how that's gonna change that is that in the supervisor department, you got 26,780 plus 4,000, that's not right. 26,780 plus 4,000, that's 30,780, and then you times it by 6.2% for Social Security, and that comes out to 1908, so why don't we just say 1900? And then you take that same number, 30,780 times 1.45% for Medicare, and you get 446, so why don't we change the 390 to 450, just because it's close. Then, in the clerk's department, it's gonna change that also, because we changed this amount, so you take the 27,295 plus the 12,000, okay, times 6.2%, and you get 2436, so instead of the 2250, let's make that 2440.
It's gonna change it in zoning too, right? Or
Yep,
did- or
it's
did
gonna
you already
change
do
it
that?
everywhere we changed a wage, so then the 27,295 plus the 12,000 times 1.45%, that's, the 525 should go to 570 for Medicare, does everybody follow that? Okay, then, when we get over to, what we do, Della, I don't think we adjusted, are we good on treasurer? Are we good on,
Yeah, so we changed the 703 to the 10,000.
oh, that's right, I don't have
176.
that down yet. So 10,176?
Yep.
So I say you just make it 10,002. Is that okay?
Yeah,
Because
that's
I
fine.
prefer round numbers. I mean, these little,
Works easier.
well, it just is crazy to worry about $24, you know?
Right.
I mean, when you can have a nice round number. Okay, so the 26,780 plus 10,2, let me write this down so I don't have to do it twice. 36,980 total wages in the treasury department times 6.2% comes to, that comes to 2292. So I don't know why we had, you know, that's not changing yours by that much. I think the 2,300 can be kept for social security, cause I'm coming to 2292.
Okay.
Alright, let's try it with the other number. 36980 total wages times 1.45% comes to 536. I better do that other one. So let's make that 550 in Medicare. Let me do the other one again. I gotta add something up here. Okay, it was 36,180 total wages times 6.2%. Yeah, that would have been 2243. I must have done something wrong here. 26,780 plus 10,200 is 36,980 times 6.2%. I'm still coming to 2292. Well, we must have rounded it up a little higher than we needed to. So I think we can leave the 2,300
Okay.
in social security. So then, we gotta go over to zoning and do the same thing. So now we got the 50,000 and we got the 4,100, so that's 54,100 times 6.2% comes to 3354. So should we just change the 3,100 social security to 3,400? Okay, and then that 54,100 figure times 1.45% for Medicare comes to 784, so do you wanna just make, what?
Go ahead.
800, yeah. Okay, so did we have to do that anywhere else? Does anybody have any changes on the last page of the general fund where I've got listed out the capital expenditure and the transfers?
All that in the red there?
Yeah,
No. I don't
okay,
know.
and then nothing else, road repair. We changed the fire fund property tax, but that doesn't affect wages.
That, you know, to be fair, we got a memo from Ron,
Oh, okay.
like minutes before, it came into my email minutes before we started this meeting.
Yeah, I saw something coming, I didn't have time to read it.
Yeah, he does not agree with us not putting the road repair fund at 100,000.
I didn't think you would.
He's,
His argument is that in the road fund, that in order to be able to match funds and with the price of the roads, as the commissioner was in the other day, was it the board of, he was on the road commission?
Mark McCallum.
Yeah. He was in the other day and stated that the prices are going up and that, you know, Ron had said to me many times that the reason why that we park that money is that so we can kind of build a fund, so we have that money so we can get like $1 on the dollar sometimes, you know, so we can get the match. And if we don't have that money there and a project comes up,
as
then,
far as I know though, we've never had a match. County doesn't match you dollar for dollar, they haven't
Well,
for
they-
many, many
40
years.
cents is
they
fine.
can go up, yeah, 60% to 40%, you know,
But that's deceiving when he says that. The dollar for dollar has not happened in 20 years. And it's never gonna go back to that, they've already told us that.
right, I mean, I think I'm just using dollar for dollar in general, you know, you give some money, you get some money. You know, so they need those funds for matching funds,
Yeah.
that's his argument.
After the meeting, before Mark McKellar left here, he emailed me, and I haven't had a chance to send it out to everybody yet, but he did send me their 2019 road project list. There's nothing planned for Whitewater Township.
And the thing about putting the money into the public improvement fund is that if you do have a project that's a public improvement project, you can move that money from there into these other funds. The road repair fund, that's a restricted fund, it can only be used on repairing the roads.
I think that's why we split it out of there last time.
That's what I was just gonna say.
That,
that's
this
why
is
we
the
split
first
it up.
time that we've put any significant money into public improvement fund. It's
still,
just not tying our hands just to use it for that.
I guess you can look at it every way, and after looking at it, it's still like, in a way, having 100,000 parked in here, but it's
It's
two
just in a
different
different
funds.
account.
We
can
can
do
still
trans-
use it on a road if a project comes along.
But I will tell you, if you have what do you say, 119,000?
Yeah,
sitting in
119.
there, and even if you add another 100,000 in there, 200,000 doesn't do anything.
No, but you'll add another 100 maybe next year, and then maybe 300, and some will do something when a project comes up and we can, you know, get some kind of matching funds. I
And
mean,
we
there
don't-
are some roads that are really bad, and I think his argument is that when it comes to public improvement in the township board, that there's nothing more important than keeping up our roads. And
Well, I think that what you're gonna see, I mean, just from what I've been reading, what you're going to see on roads that need to be totally replaced, such as like what happened with Baggs Road, it's going to be a collaboration
Mhm.
between township board money that's been set aside, the county road commission, and special assessments for the people living on those specific roads. It's gonna be a three-way debt consolidation. Because
Say that again, Don, I'm sorry, I missed it. What's that?
it's called sharing of the costs.
Right,
We're setting aside money for road replacements, right?
mhm.
yeah.
And the county says that they're gonna match certain amounts, maybe it's 30-70, 40-60, we have no idea.
No,
But these roads that are being talked about, that are gonna be replaced, they're specific roads, they're not artery roads. They're only being traveled by the people that actually live on them.
unless of course you're talking about Cook Road,
Um,
which is a huge artery road. There are people that travel that road crazily. It's a crossroad from
Maybe used as an
everywhere.
artery, but it's not classified.
It's not an artery road.
You're right,
People-
it's not classified, but it is a through road that's being overly used, no
I'll
doubt.
give you an example of a through road. That would be Bunker Hill. People coming from the north and from the south hit Bunker Hill and they get all the way to Acme. And they bypass the roundabouts, they bypass this corner over here that everybody hates so much. And I would not expect this township to pave that road to make it better just for the few citizens that are on it, because it's an arterial road. Baggs Road, we did this project with, like Cheryl said, 3 other entities,
Mhm.
shared the cost of it.
25%, 25%, 25%, 25%,
no.
right?
No,
No.
Not one.
25% from the
No.
township?
No,
no,
The two, Clearwater and, Whitewater each paid more than either of the two road commissions, because they capped theirs conveniently,
yeah.
and we had to make up the difference.
But that road is also traveled, not by just the people that live there. They're going to that boat launch.
Mhm.
We could not get the DNR or the state of Michigan to help with that, by the way. Even though it was a destination. So people that don't live on that road traveled it extensively
with heavier equipment.
with heavy equipment and boats and, I'm just saying that we had a whole community over here that paid for special road assessments to have their roads paved. Right?
Yes.
Did anybody else in the township bear that burden?
They sure didn't,
Nope.
No.
that's right.
So the trend has been when it's specific type roads that are only for the people that are pretty much living on that road, they help bear the cost through a special assessment. Not totally, the township is spending other township funds on it and with the county road commissions. It's just a trend that people are doing, townships are doing to try to make a difference. Change some of their roads, fix some of their roads.
Just one,
Otherwise, they're saying if you want it fixed, you gotta do a special assessment on it, because nobody else wants to bear the burden on a road that is not an I can't say the word tonight,
Arterial.
thank you, road.
Well, and I would feel a little, Ron's already got, if you notice in there, he is already proposing the $100,000. If you look, in the road repair replacement fund. And we did not change this figure, okay? Ron is proposing that $100,000 be spent on road repair this year. That's sitting in that fund. So
he
we
wants
can
to
spend
s-
$100,000 on road repair, which is what he's asking for, and it's sitting in that fund right now, ready to be spent, we could write the
So
check
it's not
tomorrow.
building up if he's already won, but we don't have any projects.
And we don't have any projects. And I did write back to Mark McKellar because, the 2019 list shows absolutely nothing for Whitewater Township. And so I wrote back to him and I said, wait a minute, what about that, Elk Lake Road? Only because, I don't care if they do Elk Lake Road or not, but, not just because I drive up it, but
No.
last year they had those blue signs up
Saying who was helping in it.
that they put up when they say this project is funded by the road millage, the blue signs, they threw those signs up as you're coming down the road after Angel, because they've already done Angel to Town Line a couple years ago.
Yep.
And then down here at the corner, and they never did anything. So I wrote back to Mark and I said, well, what happened to that project that they were gonna do Elk Lake Road last year? Cause I'm thinking, okay, are we gonna be asked to contribute to that? He hasn't replied to me.
Was that when they had that strike, when equipment operators went on strike?
I think so, I think,
I think that's when, that might be on this year's schedule.
But it's
but
not.
he said there's
Oh, it's not.
nothing.
It's not. There is nothing on the 2019 list in Whitewater Township.
So they have
Not
nothing
that.
that they're planning to spend any money on.
I think it's just his recommendation to bank the money, you know, I mean, if it's not being used, bank it, build it up, be ready,
I
you
think-
know.
And I think by putting it in public improvement fund, we are banking it.
Yeah, we still are.
And it is going to be ready if we ever have something that needs to come up. And I'm not saying don't ever put anything in road repair replacement fund.
Right.
Again, I'm not saying that, I'm just saying that the wealth needs to be spread around a little bit in case we have other projects that come up that need to be handled.
I think it's a more versatile fund to deal with.
Right.
And if something does come up that we don't know about right now, and it is brought to us that we need to spend, and also, just to let you guys know, I already have it on the May agenda, that we're gonna do budgeted transfers for 2019-2020 budget. I already have that on my May agenda, so we get that done, because I heard you want us to do that early rather than later. So we're gonna be doing them in March, then we're gonna be doing them in May again.
Okay,
So I don't hear any whining about that.
I will officially not whine about it.
Yeah, okay, good, yeah, I don't want anybody who isn't here whining about it either, because the board said they wanted to do that, so I'm following through. But anyways, if something were to come up this year, we can look around and let's say we need 170,000. We can look around and we can find that other 60 or 70,000 that's not in that road fund right now. We can find it, we'll find it somewhere, we will find it. This budget is modifiable as long as we can find the money to modify it. So, yeah. So I'm for sticking the 50,000 in the public improvement fund, because I do like Della's idea that we need to have some money, that some plans can start being made for some things to happen out here. Because there's been a whole lot of years of nothing happening out here.
This is kind of a stupid question, I'm new, can't that just come out of the general fund? Can't you just keep the 100,000 that Ron requested to bank in the road fund and take some money out of the general fund?
Well,
He's
it's coming
throwing out
from the general fund.
that
Right.
700,000, like it's a true number. That's not a true number. You know, just because he throws that out there doesn't mean that it's the truth.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
Well, because.
I
we
just
keep-
wanted to express his recommendation, that's
Yeah,
all, that's my job.
yeah, right.
And I will say this, there's a certain amount of money you have to have set aside in your general fund in case something happens. What is it they recommend, 2 years?
No, not anywhere close to that.
What are they recommending?
I've
6
heard
months?
3 months.
3 months.
Well,
is
that's
what I heard.
ridiculous.
That is ridiculous. I agree with that.
One other thing that came up in his memo, he just wanted to cover was the fact that looking at your parks and recs,
Oh, yeah.
budget items, some of them, the dugout is exceeding 15,000, he's asking if you need to have some kind of engineering money planned for it, because it is over 15,000,
It's a manufactured item.
okay?
The dugouts are a manufactured item.
He just wanted to let you know if he thought, you know, you might wanna, if you needed to add it or not,
Right.
okay?
And he would also like a copy of, a CD copy of tonight's meeting as a recording sent to him as soon as we can.
Sent to him where?
Pick up at my office, mailbox, or better yet, upload to the website.
See, I don't know how to put it on the website. If I can get Jim Sundberg to do it, I could do it. We gotta get through budget.
'Kay.
First, before I'm gonna have time to do that, and I have lots of minutes to get done and lots to do before the end of this month.
I think he's just trying to keep up to speed where he's at.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that he did this. You know, that he put something in writing for us all, and it probably would've been better if we would've had it earlier, cause like I said, I got this minutes before I came out of my office.
He's
you know.
tired.
I understand, but none of these guys had a chance to actually look at it.
So anyways, we fixed the social security and Medicare in the zoning administrator department. We talked about that we have everything listed for, transfers and capital expenditures. Our contingency line item, I do need to make a note that, and the note will be in the budget, that 25,000 of that is unallocated, and that 10,000 is for handyman. Parking handyman wages or something.
You're still looking for a handyman, right?
We haven't advertised yet.
You know, I think it's just my opinion, I think the first place you should look is at maybe a fireman.
No.
No? You don't
they
think
have
so?
time.
Well, we
They
brought
are.
that
Well, a
up.
lot of them are part-time, they're not getting, you know,
Ron's already run us by this,
Okay.
and I'll just tell you what I told him at the meeting where he brought it up. That was talked about before, the
Mhm.
firemen aren't interested.
okay.
They're not,
At least firemen we have now.
no. Yeah, the firemen we have now are not interested. Yeah. And they're pretty much the same firemen we've had.
Okay.
No, I know Dave Tilley is actually in construction, he works
That's a
for,
full-time job.
That's
but it's a full-time
Yeah,
job.
It is, yeah, he's not interested in making, he probably makes more than what we're gonna pay. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know. But then I didn't have any other changes in road repair or road repair replacement. We changed the property tax line item and fire fund, but everything else is what, the chief wanted. And then in park fund, we didn't make any changes. In rec fund, oh, and just another answer on Ron saying about the 18,000 for the dugouts. Right now, we're budgeting that money. If we have to do something different to spend it, we'll do that. Right now, we're just budgeting money, we're not spending it right now. This is money that, some of this money isn't even gonna get spent. Then we changed in ambulance fund, we changed the property tax line item, and that made the new total 377,650. So I don't know how that affects the bottom line. And I do have a note that in ambulance fund capital expenditure, that 45,000 is for half of the asphalt parking, drive. Just the same as in, fire. And then ambulance replacement, we don't do that anymore. Public improvements got the 50,000. In fire capital, I put that rural money, the 223,351 in the transfers, and that's coming from the fire fund. And I listed how we got to the 270,000 on the capital expenditure. And then on the salary wage schedule, I just showed the things that are gonna change. The planning commission and zoning board of appeals increases, nothing else is gonna increase on that page. The election inspector and chairperson wages on the second page, nothing else is gonna increase on that page. And then I showed the changes that are gonna happen to the graded wage scale when we up park ranger starting to 12, up deputy clerk, treasurer, and supervisor starting to 13. So now that I've used up all that time, or most of it, I don't know, anybody else have anything they want to change? Or?
No, you did a good job, Cheryl.
You did do a great job. I do have, one more question though on, could you explain to me a little bit more so at least I can understand? And on the $1,000 we're given to the Milton Township payment plan every year?
Yep, last year we were approached by Milton Township to make a contribution to one of their new parks up there. And we were asked to,
It was through a grant process they were doing, wasn't it?
right, and they were trying to get some buy-in from nearby communities. So we, and it's something that might be reciprocated to us someday. And so we decided that we were going to give Milton Township $1,000 a year for 5 years. And we signed a memo of understanding with them to make that take place. Because we feel that in Milton Township especially, a lot of Whitewater Township residents use the soccer fields and just all the stuff they have up in Milton Township. My kids played soccer up there, we didn't pay any taxes there, but yet my kids played soccer there for years, on the
And they also
fields.
did the new kayak launch.
Yep, new kayak.
In this plan, they have a new
Yeah.
kayak launch.
There was I don't remember the
They have
name
a
of it.
waterfront
There
park.
was a thing that Lon sent us that they were applying
It was-
for, and they
it was
needed
mainly for
neighboring
the
township
waterfront.
area.
Right.
It's mainly for the waterfront.
So there was other townships that got involved in it, I don't remember the name of it, but right off the hand, but it was a good neighborly thing to
Is
do.
there other townships that are donating as well?
Oh, yes,
Oh, there are?
yeah, Elk Rapids did,
Oh, did they? Okay.
yep, and I don't know if Acme did or not, but I know Elk Rapids, I thought Elk Rapids did and we did, and I'm not sure about the other one, but,
Torch Lake,
yeah.
Helena.
Yeah.
Thanks for explaining that to me, Cheryl.
No problem.
Being that we're going to be going for some grants for our waterfront upgrades, they
Well-
may be willing to do reciprocate.
I ran into
It's not
Ron,
like our money is making a huge difference.
I
It
ran
was
into,
totally for grants.
I ran into Lon last Friday at Greenstone and told him, you know, I was teasing, we're always teasing each other, I told him what we did the night before the meeting. I said, Lon, I hope that someday I told him, that someday we're getting more active with our township and the parks and recs and all that. I said, I hope that can be turned around. He says, absolutely. He says, we've talked about that all the time, how appreciative we are. He says,
Yeah.
that's why we did it, so we can
Yeah.
work back and forth,
Right. Yeah.
so. Okay. Anything else, Brad? How about anybody else? I think we're pretty well in agreement to everything on this, aren't we?
What I have to do now is go back and put in, well, those ambulance numbers I missed, and, that one new line item, any of the changes we made tonight, and then that'll be the budget document for next Tuesday. The Elk Rapids News has already run the budget public hearing notice and the Record Eagle. It was in Sunday in the Record Eagle and last Thursday in the Elk Rapids News. So we're all set there, and then I'll be coming up with a format, this is something I did for Ron, every year, the budget public hearing format, because we'll start following the agenda, and then we'll get to public hearings, and we'll move over to this format document that, remember, we have to state the time the public hearing opened, and then, on the general fund, and then you just go through and you say, these are the proposed, this is the proposed revenue amount. We don't do it line item by line item. The proposed revenue amount is, the proposed expenditure amount is, if there's any, we talk about if there's been any written comment, we let anybody who is here have their comment. Then we close the public hearing on that, then we go to the fire special assessment, say what those revenues are and expenditures, then we do the ambulance. And, well, in the general fund, we do all those other, well, I'm sorry, no, not the general fund. Then we do all the other ones too, the road repair replacement, park, rec, and we just state total projected revenues, total projected expenditures, and give the public an opportunity to comment on that. When that comment is done, we close that public hearing, and then we go back to the regular agenda, so we'll be going to unfinished business items, like Miami Beach will be on there, and the event barn survey will be on there for the finishing, well, and Miami Beach wants us to set values, so the board will have to decide if they wanna do that. They've already provided some information for the packet. I have another document I'm gonna, put in there too, and then, we said we put the event barn survey back on there, for Ron's input. And then under new business, we'll have all our resolutions for salary, for supervisor, clerk, treasurer, general appropriations, those 7 or 8 resolutions we have. I'll have to do budget amendments. I'll have to be looking through the budget to see if there's any department that's over, and we have to amend that. And then I'll be bringing the budgeted transfers also for things we haven't transferred this year into wherever they go. I'll be bringing that, and I've decided not to muddy up the agenda with my 2 parks things, even though those do need to get going, but I will save those for April 9th. But those will have to be on April 9th. But, so anyways, so we have to get through the public hearings and the unfinished business and the new business, and I don't know what Ron wants to put on there. You know, I'm waiting to hear that. Cause that packet's going out Thursday. So, he's supposed to have his agenda items and supporting documentation to me by Wednesday. That's the deadline, 6 days before the meeting. Last time I got it 5 days before the meeting.
Do you know of anything that he has on his mind for, the next meeting coming up?
Well, obviously his input for the event barn survey, he wants to do that, and I think he realizes that the board has pretty full plate, you know, trying to get through budget.
Yeah.
So, he hasn't really mentioned anything else.
Okay.
You know, when I talk to him, I spend quite a bit of time talking to him. It's like a work study for me. You know, I think he's trying to be a teacher, and we spend like part of the time, he's explaining things, you know, policies, and it's just overwhelming, you know, but I know that when he gets up in the morning, his whole day is township work, you know, other than his medical treatments, that's his day. He doesn't, I said, you watch any TV, you know, nothing, so. And it takes him a little longer now, you know, I mean, a whole day to him, you know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get through the day, but I think he's doing really well considering. He'll be back soon.
That's the plan, right?
That's the hope.
Okay, anything else on the agenda before we go to board comments? Okay. next thing is board comment and discussion. So I had, board comment is, hope that we'll nominate Lloyd to run the next meeting.
Well, you know, just for the record, I think you have the power to nominate me for the next meeting if you wanted to. Just saying.
I don't think we can do that.
No, I think you can, but it's not gonna happen. I'm just saying.
That's not the way I read the little red book.
Really?
No.
Okay, if there's no board discussion, public comment? Hearing
No.
none, I'll take a motion for adjournment.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
One second.
Adjourned at 7:40.